Hi Angel, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Phemelo Makobo, and thank you so much for watching my video today. I have decided to come back to YouTube after what has been a year-long hiatus, and I thought I need to do some explaining as to where I have been, what I've been doing, and why I have not been on social media. So I thought before I start putting out videos like vlogs and so on, I should sit down and explain to you guys exactly where I have been, what I've been doing, what I've been up to, and all of that, so that you guys are caught up to what my life looks like lately and where I am and what I'm doing and all of that. So where have I been must be the first question that you guys want me to answer. Where have I been? I've been working, okay? So the last time that you guys saw me on YouTube, or the last time that I uploaded a video, was in January of last year. And believe it or not, I had no intentions of going off of YouTube or taking a social media break or whatever. What had actually happened was, the last time you saw me on YouTube, that vlog that I posted in January of last year, I was actually job hunting during that time. So I had just completed my studies at Wits and I had obtained my bachelor's degree, and I was job hunting, looking for a job in my field. And so I was applying to different schools, applying in different provinces, you know, all of that jazz. Even though I never mentioned it on camera, or I never mentioned it in any of my vlogs, that's exactly what I was busy with at the time. And it is nerve-wracking, okay guys? Job hunting is not nice. It is not nice. And especially when you start thinking about how many, let's say for instance in the city of Joburg, how many universities are in the city of Joburg? How many of those universities offer the same course that you were taking? How many graduates did those universities all together, like how many graduates did those universities produce in that year that you were also graduating? And how many of you are all applying to the same jobs? So it's a very nerve-wracking process. I do not wish it on anyone, even though it is something that we have to go through, especially in this country where unemployment is so high in our age group. So those kind of thoughts were what was running through my mind as I was applying, because I was applying to a lot of jobs and none of them called me back, okay? So it was only in January, early January, that I got a call back from one of the schools that I had applied to, and the school is in Witwatersrand, and they said they like my CV and they have shortlisted me, and as time goes on they'll send me details of the interview. And so I attended an interview on the 19th of January. It was my first ever job interview. I've had a job before, like when I was 16 years old. I worked at King Pie. I don't know if that counts as a job, but I worked at King Pie during the school holidays when I was 16 years old. But my teacher and her husband owned the King Pie, so she kind of like hired me for like casualty work when I was still in grade 10. But I had never been to a job interview. That's the point I'm trying to make. I had never been to a job interview before, so this was my first ever job interview, and I was so anxious and I was so nervous. So I needed obviously to prepare for that, you know, read through some questions, and let me tell you, the interview questions that I thought I was using to prepare me for that interview did absolutely nothing for me. They asked me questions that I didn't even think that they were going to ask me. But after that interview, later that afternoon actually, I got a call and the manager said, hey, we would like to offer you this job, do you accept, and when can you start, I was so over the moon about that. And that is when my life started to do a complete 360, okay? My life started to change drastically from what I had known previously to where I am now. Okay, so boom, January, I get a call for an interview, I get the job, and I start the next day. I remember the next day was January 20th, which was on a Friday. I start that same Friday, and then now I am a employee, full-time employee. So if you guys used to watch my videos from when I was in varsity, I was training, or I was studying to become a English and history teacher. Okay, my fellow English teachers would kill me if they heard that. I was studying to become an English teacher. Okay, so I was studying to become a history and an English teacher, and that is exactly what I'm doing currently. I am a state employed educator for the Department of Basic Education, and I teach grade 11 history as well as grade 10 English. Okay, so now with that comes so many other things that I did not know I needed to get a hang of. Guys, adulting, okay? So now I came out of university, and then I was job hunting while I was at home, and now I got this job. It's in Witwatersrand, which is where I currently live and work, and now I'm living at home in Klerksdorp, and I have to travel every morning between Klerksdorp and Witwatersrand, and in the afternoons as well. And then I decided that I need to get my own place closer to work so that I don't have to travel 40-50 minutes every single day. Okay, so then I moved out of my mom's house and I moved into my own apartment, and that is where we currently are. So the move from being your parents' child living at home to being in full adult mode and living in your own space was also a lot. So all of that happened in a short period of time for me, and it was a lot for me to take in. Not only am I now a full-time employee and I have all these professional duties and professional responsibilities and expectations from my work, you know, there's so many responsibilities that come with being a teacher, especially in this day and age where the profession is under so much scrutiny from the public. And then in 2 weeks I had to become my own person and like become responsible for myself. Basically, like, I'm moving into my own apartment, I'm waking myself up in the mornings, I'm driving myself to work. Okay, I was already doing that, but now I'm doing my own laundry, I'm ironing my own clothes, I'm cooking for myself twice a day, making sure that I eat and everything. Those are luxuries that I kind of took for granted when I was living at my mom's house, because she used to do laundry for us, she used to cook for us. I used to pitch in with the cooking here and there when she's at work, when I wasn't working. But when I started working, she was, you know, cooking for the family, you know, things like that. I took all of those things for granted, and as soon as I started living on my own, I realized how much of a responsibility it is, how much of a task it is. But nonetheless, I was feeling very grateful, very blessed, because this is everything that I have ever prayed for. This is everything that I have ever aspired to achieve. All of my goals for my career, I've been able to, you know, get into a job where I'm doing exactly what I trained to do, which is very rare, and I do not take that for granted, because in South Africa, as a teacher or a education graduate, you can find yourself teaching a subject that you didn't even train to teach because you need the job, you know. So then all of that I just mentioned now happened to me all at once in the span of like 2 months. Okay, now I moved into my own space, I need to furnish it. Okay, I need to furnish my place, you know. Thankfully I had an income, so every month I was buying furniture pieces, you know, turning my space into a home. And then things like, I'm a neighbor now, you know, I'm somebody's neighbor. I've never been somebody's neighbor before, especially not on my own. I've always lived at home. When I was growing up, I was living with my mom, my dad, my sister, and my brother. And when I was in res, I was always living with a roommate. I had stayed with roommates since I was in first year. So now I'm on my own, and things like locking the door, I'm not used to locking the door at night. It's either I go to bed without locking the door, or I forget my keys at work, or I'm locking myself inside my apartment, or I'm locking myself outside of my apartment. Just like silly things that I never thought that I would have to get used to. Guys, things like buying electricity. I did not know how to buy electricity until I moved into my own apartment. Before, at Ray's, you don't buy electricity. Sharp. At home, my dad always took care of things like buying electricity, locking the doors, I don't know, making sure that we're safe inside the house. I don't know. So I never used to think about these things until I started living on my own. All right. And then another thing that came with living on my own for the first time ever was feelings of loneliness. I was fighting feelings of loneliness. I really struggled with feeling alone because it's very quiet and it's just me. Okay, so what would happen was that every single weekend I was going back home to Klerksdorp and visiting my mom and spending time with them, and I think she could kind of tell that I was feeling lonely, and I would actually let her know that I feel so alone. It is so quiet where I stay, and I'm trying not to, you know, sink into a depression because of the quietness that I'm experiencing for the first time. And she would just tell me like, oh, you'll get used to it, don't worry, you will definitely get used to it as time goes by. And so I did. It took me 6 months to get used to it, I'm not gonna lie. Only about 6 or 7 months into staying on my own was I getting a hang of coming home from work and it being quiet, no one to talk to, and I picked up a hobby or two. I like to read now in my quiet space. I'll even listen to music to fill my quiet space with, you know, some sound and so on. Okay, so in January I got my first full-time job, and then in February I moved into my own place, my own apartment, and then I was working out these feelings of being alone for the first time, living alone for the first time. And then in April I graduated from Wits, and even that was like something that was, it happened just like this, because guess what, I had work the next day. Okay, so I had to travel to Joburg, which was like an hour away, travel to Joburg with my mom, and then we went to my graduation, attended my graduation, came back the same afternoon. Next morning, wake up, go to work like nothing even happened. Like, that's literally how fast-paced adulting is. Okay, I'm actually just looking down on my phone because I jotted down some of the points that I needed to cover in this life update, so that I don't find myself rambling for 15 minutes and I had not even said anything that I wanted to initially cover. So then, why am I back on YouTube, or what made me decide to come back on YouTube, you might be asking yourself. And the answer is that I've always loved content creation. Like I said in the beginning, I had never intended to stop content creation. It is because of all these things that I just mentioned before that I was going through and dealing with and getting used to, finding my feet as a professional and finding my feet as an adult at this very young age. Guys, 22, 23 is a very young age, okay, to be so independent. All right, I still feel like a baby sometimes, but I'm an adult now and I need to live with that. So finding my feet in my profession and also finding my feet as an adult was something that I really needed to get used to. And thank heavens I still have both of my parents to always call and ask for something, or call and ask for advice. And I'm also very grateful that my parents have been here before. They've done this. They have also been employed by the state. They've also been employed for a very long time. They were also employed at a very young age, is also what I wanted to say. So they know, you know, how to maneuver or navigate this phase in your life where you're going from not having a job or being a student to having a job and being a full-time employee and so on and so on. So I'm very grateful to them. They were able to help me out with a lot of things. Adulting is not easy, guys. You definitely need someone that you can call and say, hey, this and this and this and this, is it true? Is it supposed to be this way? Especially when it's something that you've never done before, like a credit score. Okay, I needed a credit score to move into my apartment. I did not have one because I just started working like 2 weeks ago. Okay, and then thank heavens I found this lady who is a real estate agent, and she's very, very kind. And she just told me, look, I trust you and I know that you're going to pay your rent every month on time, so I'm going to give you the place without checking your credit record, because I can tell that you just started working. And she trusted me, and ever since then I have been staying here. She is such a blessing in my journey. Honestly, like, when you are in the midst of chaos, God will just send you people that are calm, cool, collected, and not trying to throw petrol into the fire. Okay, so she's one of those people that were just very welcoming, very understanding of what I was going through at the time, and how frustrated I was feeling traveling every day and all of that. Like, it was very exhausting. So I've decided to come back to YouTube because you guys were bullying me on my Instagram. Okay, not really, you guys weren't bullying me. However, I have received a lot of DMs over the past couple of months with people asking me like, hey, when are you coming back to YouTube? Or hey, where are you? We miss you on the Red app. That's one of the DMs that I get very frequently. Oh, when are you coming back to the Red app? Oh, when are you coming back to YouTube? And guys, I love YouTube. Okay, I love creating content. I love being on the space. It is top 2 one of my favorite apps. Okay, Pinterest being the #1 contender. All right, so I really love being on YouTube. I really love putting out content, taking videos for YouTube, filming vlogs and all of that. I love it. Okay, I will never ever forsake YouTube. So I decided to come back finally now, because I'm at a place where I feel like I've found my feet as a professional. I know what I'm doing now. I'm not learning as much as I was last year. Last year I was learning everything from scratch. Now that I am 2 years in the game, I kind of know what to do. I know what is expected of me, and I'm doing that, and it's kind of not new to me anymore. And as an adult in my personal life, I am also at a place where I have reached an equilibrium. I've reached a place of balance. Okay, I'm balancing work properly, and I'm managing my work properly, and I'm balancing my personal life, and I'm managing my personal life quite well as well. So I thought, why not come back to my first love, my favorite hobby in the whole wide world, content creation. Okay, and I decided that, you know what, it is time for me to get back to YouTube. It is time for me to do what I absolutely love most, getting in front of the camera and saying, hi Angel, welcome back to my channel. And that is why we are here today. But remember, I remember that I once said it here on my YouTube channel, that one of the core reasons I decided to start YouTube in the first place was because I wanted to document my life as it was happening. And I thought of it in this really cool way, that one day I'm gonna be like 40 years old, and I'm gonna be sitting back on a couch and just watching my 20s, watching my 30s on my YouTube channel. And it's gonna be so amazing for me when I get there one day. So right now I'm in a chapter of my life where I am an adult, I am a working girly, okay, and I am also, trying to balance the two very well for, just to live a healthy lifestyle. So I have documented my varsity days, and that was so much fun. so much fun, I'm not gonna lie. I've documented my varsity days, I've documented my days as a student, I've documented my days with my friends in varsity, all of that. Now I am in this working girl era, and I am going to start documenting that and start seeing how it is playing out for myself. It'll also be very interesting to watch in like a couple of years to see, oh, when I first started out as a teacher, this is how I was living, this is where I was living, this is what I was doing, blah 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 blah. So that is the core reason why I'm on YouTube. I'm doing it for myself first, and then obviously to connect with you guys second, right? So in the list of achievements that I was able to achieve with the grace of God this past year, it was my job, my first apartment, and I also early this year in January purchased my first ever car. I was so over the moon when I finally got my first car, because I had been battling with getting my credit score in check so that I can qualify for a car. And in January this year, I went to like car dealerships and I was giving them my salary advice, and you qualify for vehicle financing from this bank and this bank and this bank and whatever and whatever. And I was so excited because that meant that I can get my first car. So last year when I was working, my mom had actually lent me her car. She was very selfless in doing that. She didn't have to, but she wanted to make sure that I don't struggle with transport ever. I'm never late to work because of transport issues, or I'm never disadvantaged in any way because I don't have a car. So she lent me her car for a year straight, and I was so happy. And that's why I keep saying, like, I'm very blessed to have my parents in my life still, because they know what it's like, you know, to be exactly where I am right now. And I was so grateful, and I know she was very proud of me when I bought my first car. I remember giving her my car to drive around in for a month straight before I could even drive it, because I was just like, you sacrificed your own comfort, you sacrificed your own convenience for a whole year to give me a car, or to have me having, you know, my own mode of transport, and you never complained. She was never calling me like, hey, where's my car, because she knows I'm responsible. And so I thought to myself, let me give her my car, even though it's new and it's my first baby. My mom deserves to be driving around in my new baby more than I do right now. So yeah, I'm gonna obviously show you guys all of these things that I'm talking about. I'm gonna show you guys my apartment, I'm gonna show you guys my car in the coming videos. And also another thing that I wanted to touch on, that I see that I've jotted down here, is my plan or my goals for my YouTube channel going forward. So like I said, I want to document this phase in my life. I want to document this chapter in my life, and also what I am going to be doing. I think I should just let you guys know what I want to do with my channel. So I definitely want to do like vlogs, and obviously vlogging my day-to-day life, my personal life, and what I do in my little life. My life has become very quiet, very tranquil, and it's so surprising for me to see that the older I get, the more, the more introverted I become. Okay, I have been struggling with making friends in the area for the past year. Not that I'm searching for friends, not that I'm going out trying to make friends with people, but it is very different from when you're in varsity or when you're in school. You know, when you're in school, you make friends with the people that you're in the same classes with, and so on and so on. And my friends from varsity are still my friends till this day. The only thing that's changed now is that my friendships are medium distance. I'm not going to call it long distance because it's not that far. All my friends are in Joburg and I'm in Witwatersrand, so it's like a medium distance. However, I've struggled to make friends in the area, so I'm very Alonsome. Alonsome, is that an English word? Because I know in Afrikaans it's aliensam. I'm aliensam because I'm forever alone, doing things on my own. I'm always indoors because of that, so like I won't really go out unless it's necessary, and I'm finding myself very comfortable being inside all the time. So I'm trying to break away from that because I feel like a windshield wiper, you know. I'm at home, going to work, at home, going to work, coming back home, da 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 da. So my life has become very, I don't want to say boring, but very, there's a routine that I follow every single day, and every single weekend I'm doing the same thing, being indoors and so on. So coming back on YouTube is hopefully something that is gonna get me into a hobby or break out of that routine that I'm currently living in. So now the kind of content that I'm going to create is obviously around myself as an individual, what I like to do, what I am doing, and so on. And also because I'm a teacher, I've noticed from some of the DMs that I've been receiving that my viewers would expect me to be, you know, showcasing some of the things that I do when I'm at work, you know, what I do when I'm at work, or how it is being a teacher in South Africa. So I work at a public school and I'm a high school teacher, so you guys are probably expecting like, oh, day in the life of a high school teacher, blah blah blah. So there are two types of teacher content that I've seen other educators doing. The first type is the educational content, like creators like Miss Angler. She is a TikToker that I'm familiar with, and I've also seen some of her YouTube videos. She's a life science teacher, and then she will also like have videos on YouTube where she's tutoring basically and teaching learners how to pass their life science exams or preparing them for their matric finals and so on and so on. And then she'll also have some tips and tricks for new teachers or for student teachers or whatever. So her whole niche is education. So she's an educator, and the purpose of her content is to educate. Okay, and then there are other educators that are basically putting out content based on what it is like being an educator. So one of them that I've seen before, like on TikTok as well, is Miss M. I don't know what the M stands for, I'm very sorry, but she refers to herself as Miss M, right? And she's a primary school educator, if I'm not mistaken, and she just shows us like the backhand of being a teacher, what it's like coming in the morning, preparing for your lessons, teaching the lesson, and so on and so on. And so her content is basically based in the classroom or at work, at school, right? So I am not interested in making educational videos, okay? Neither am I interested in you know, filming myself being a teacher or filming myself in class delivering lessons or any of that. However, from the two, the only one that I can say I would lean towards a little bit is the second type of content, like the second type of teacher content, where you show the backhand of being an educator, what time you leave home in the mornings, what time you reach work, and all the admin that is tied to being a teacher or that comes with being an educator. And sometimes you have to stay after school to do some admin work and prepare for lessons or prepare for tests and so on and so on, or marking and whatever. Those are the kind of things that I would show you guys. However, it's gonna take some time. You have to navigate that kind of content very carefully, and Miss M does that very well, because like I said, the profession is coming under scrutiny a lot on social media. So when people see you as a teacher creating content around being a teacher, they will automatically assume that you're not doing your job. You're there posing for the camera the whole time, like, oh, learners are not being taught because teachers are on TikTok. That's some of the comments that I've seen. And then another thing is the Poppy Act. You have to protect those minors that you're working with, so you cannot show minors faces, even if, like, the way that the laws are set up in South Africa is that, okay, so under South African law, any child that is in school is a school learner minor, okay? And you're an educator, and you have to recognize that this minor has parents or guardians. So even if I want to take a selfie posing with my children, or take a clip and put it up on YouTube or whatever, I have to send out a letter with the school's letterhead, okay, saying, hey, my name is Miss Makobo and I'm a YouTuber and I'm trying to show your kids on my YouTube channel, is that okay? And then I must have my manager signing off on it, and then I'm gonna send it to parents for them to sign and return back to me. If anything is ever to happen to the children because I put them on YouTube or because I put them on my social media, I'm liable. So that's why I feel like it will take some time for me to get there. However, I would like to get there so that I can show you guys what it is like for me to be a teacher. But I'll do as much as I possibly can. And then another thing is that I don't think I'm gonna be letting anyone know where I work for safety reasons. Okay, I am a single woman living in South Africa, so my safety is of utmost importance to me. For safety reasons, I will not be showing anyone, or I will not be telling anyone rather, where I work. I just think that that's very dangerous. I don't want to take that risk, honestly. Like I said, South Africa, the fact that I live in South Africa should say a lot on its own. So that concludes the life update video. If I have not covered something that you wanted to know, or there's a question that you would like to ask me, please drop it in the comment box and I will respond to it as soon as I see it. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and tell a friend to tell a friend that she's back. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.